Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Leslie Snyder, and I'm a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, as well as a nutrition coach. And a lot of you know me, at least if you're in town in Walla Walla, personal trainer and longtime fitness and health and wellness expert. So if you're joining us from somewhere else, we're so glad that you're here today. And yeah, we're going to talk about Rebecca's Kitchen. And she has been generous enough to allow me to come in for your benefit, because we're going to do what's called the Great Kitchen Makeover. And it's something that I've been working on over the past few years, and it actually is a whole curriculum. But today we're going to take a really large, we're going to step back and do that 30,000 foot view and get you started. So I hope that you had a chance to download the attachment that you got, because we're going to talk about 3 very important steps when you're creating a kitchen makeover. Now, some of you might have logged in thinking that we're gonna get you new cabinets,
you can wipe mine down.
Some backsplash work, but this is about creating a kitchen that supports your health and wellness goals. So if you were hoping for, some deconstruction, we're not gonna tear anything apart.
Yeah, no one's pounding on anything.
What we're going to do is look in her refrigerator. We're going to look in her freezer, cabinets, because we've already identified some simple, small, and sustainable changes that she's ready to make. So with that, I think we'll get started.
Okay.
Perfect. So if you have the download and you go to creating environmental support, that's the sheet. You'll see my note on it too. But that creating environmental support means that you are creating an environment that supports your health and wellness goals. And you might think that you have that, but we're going to find out if you do or not.
Leslie's my friend too, so I'm really glad it's her and not a stranger, because she's known me for a long time and she knows I need work.
This is all good. This is all good. So if you go through the sheet, creating the environmental support, the first thing you'll see is honestly assess. You're going to make an honest assessment of your kitchen, your readiness to change, and your personal health goals. So, Rebecca, it's time to get in the hot seat.
Okay.
If you were to assess your kitchen right now, what are you doing in here that is really helpful to you?
Oh, okay. I guess I don't love cooking, you guys. I really don't. So I think the thing that is helpful to me is when I have things prepped or when things are really easy. That is one good thing that I can do and learn a little bit more about, because I don't do a very good job about it. Hence all of the fruits and vegetables that don't make it into my belly and into the garbage because they go bad too fast. And I really have all of the best intentions to eat them. I really do. But life just gets in the way and then I don't eat them. And so I really need help with that.
We're going to pause right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you might have noticed that when I asked Rebecca was, what is she doing well right now? And how she answered was what she needs to do.
Yeah.
And so that's actually the first step. Is I want you guys to do this at home. And Rebecca, we're going to look at that question again and ask what you're already doing well in terms of your health and wellness in your kitchen.
Okay. What I'm doing well is I am making sure to eat oatmeal in the mornings, put fresh fruit in it, and use the flaxseed. I'm making sure that
we're going to pause right there.
Okay.
Good. This is good.
Okay.
No, it's great. It's so good. So good. I'll tell you what I see.
Okay.
I see bananas on the counter. I see grapefruit that she's already got. I see some clean countertops. I see readiness to work, right? There's organization in the kitchen. I see, real life. There's some dishes in the sink, totally real life. But I also see, areas that are nice. She's created some nice little plants. She didn't create the plants, but she created the environment that she enjoys, right? So
I get what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're creating environmental support, meaning what is around you that you're already doing well.
Okay.
So if you were to answer that question, what would you say?
Okay. I am definitely neat I keep my counters as clean as I can. I yell at everybody to take their mail and their books and their backpacks to their rooms, because I do like to have a clean kitchen. So that when it's time for me to cook or do something, I can do it right away. I don't have to like clean in order to cook. That's one thing I do well.
Excellent. Very, very good point, because there's a lot of us, myself included, I can't cook in a dirty kitchen. It drives me up the wall, and I end up like cleaning up before I need to prepare. And that's exhausting. So where'd my paper go? Oh, it's right. Anyway. So when I say we're starting at the 30,000 foot view, I mean, this is way basic, because we don't think about how important sometimes that our environmental support really is. So that's where we honestly assess your kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe the first step that you need to do is wipe down your counters or take out the trash, or, something that makes you feel like, that was a small, simple step. And it actually made me kind of decompress a little bit. I want to be in my kitchen, swept the floor or something like that. Now we need to assess your readiness to change. And if you were to give on a 1 to 5 scale, 1, not a chance. It is too busy with life right now. I'm not ready. It's either too much or it's not the right time. Mm-hmm. And 5, as soon as we're done here, I'm doing this.
I think I would like to say 5. I think though, with how busy I am with Blue Zones and doing all of these kinds of projects and things, programs, I'm probably more at a 3 to 4, but I'm highly motivated.
Excellent. So when you make your assessment and your readiness to change, we need to look for numbers on a 1 to 5 scale of 4 and 5, or if you're using a 1 to 10 scale, 9 and 10. If you aren't at that number, we need to make it simpler. Right? So she gave herself a 4. That's pretty ready. Her readiness to change. And then if you were to identify your 1 or 2 top personal health goals that revolve around nutrition, what would they be?
Well, I don't know if any of you have done this, but so I put on a little weight during COVID, and I know that we're still in COVID, but I mean, just when we were all staying at home, and I did a lot of baking because that's how I show love and that's how I take care of my people. I bake and then I give it to them. So anyways, I'd like to get rid of the COVID weight that I put on, but I really want to eat as fuel. Like I want to put in my body what's going to help me be a really good mom, what's going to help me do well at Blue Zones project, and that's going to make me feel good. Like I don't want to feel tired and cranky. I really want to feel healthy and happy.
Okay. So a couple of goals stand out there. An overall increase in nutritional value of your food, mm-hmm. and for you and the people you love, mm-hmm. but also to maybe shed a couple of pounds that decided to stick around after COVID. Yeah, gotcha. All right, so now we've done the first assessment, and then it's time to do the reassessment, right? So the reassessment, the first time through the process, identifies our desired outcomes rather than the actual place we find ourselves. It's kind of the princess or the halo effect there. So now we take a second pass through to dig a little deeper. And I put, don't be afraid to experience big feelings. So I'm going to give you an example of this. So last night, I'm a huge fan of This Is Us. Because I like to self-inflict pain. But I went to watch the episode from this past week, and it was extremely emotional, an extremely emotional episode for me. And what I found is that after I crawled out from under the covers and wiped my face and, got the snot off my face, this is what I was doing. So come with me. This is not my kitchen, but if it was my kitchen, I was sad. I was like crazy sad last night. And so this is me. I go into my pantry. You got any bread?
Oh yeah, it's in the bread box.
Oh, the bread box. Well, in my world, it's in the pantry. So we're just going to pretend that this is bread, right? It's wheat thins. But this was me last night walking around with my hand in my, I don't eat bread like that. Not only that, I was like eating my son's like white bread that he likes for swim meets. So I'm holding the bread like a cradle. This is super vulnerable, people. But I'm eating the bread going, I don't eat bread like this. I mean, like at least I could have a sandwich, but I wasn't. And what I had to stop at that moment and say, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And acknowledge the fact that it was super easy for me to grab something that gave me immediate comfort because I was tremendously sad. Do not watch last week's episode. Just let me tell you right there. But when you know what, when you stop and pause, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? We do the things we do with the food that we have because it works. And that bread worked for me, right? It was a quick dopamine hit to my brain. I was feeling really down and really sad. And that dopamine hit was kind of felt good for a little bit. And then I was like, okay, what I really need to do is just go to bed. So that's what I did, right? Put the bread down and I went to bed. So that's the why behind creating environmental support. It's not that we never have treats and we never have pizza or we never have ice cream. It's like understanding that what we have handy is what we're going to grab. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yes. So we're going to take another pass through. I'll come right back. And we're going to decide the love importance. So we've already identified the fact that Rebecca wants to kind of clean up her nutrition choices, not only for her, but for her family. And then also maybe, change some of the types of food she's eating so that she can drop a few COVID pounds. So now we need to decide level of importance. So how important is, making a change to you?
Actually, it's really important because, okay, here we go. This is vulnerable. I will be turning 50 this year. And I really am worried about, my overall health and my longevity because I want to be there for my kids and I want to be there for my family. And I want to not just be there, but I want to be present and be able to do the things that I want to do and go on hikes and have an active lifestyle. And I just want to be able to continue to do that. And so this 50 that's looming over me is sort of making me reassess a whole lot of things. And one of those is definitely nutrition and getting back into fighting shape and just feeling good about where I'm at and the things I'm able to do. So that's pretty good. Pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's excellent. Understanding your why is critically important because it's your driver. It's not just, I want to eat an apple because it's healthier for me. Or it's, I want to, clean my kitchen because it looks nice. Like, no, I have a big birthday coming up. I want to, celebrate the body that I've been given. And I want to be able to do the things that I've, want to do. I want to hike. I want to be with the people I love. And I want to do it in this way that feels right to me. Because of that, I'm ready to make these changes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to peek into Rebecca's refrigerator. No, she only has one.
Actually, no, there's one in the garage, but it's only for beverages and frozen things.
We're going to look in her refrigerator and we're going to look in her pantry. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to make some changes that she and I have already agreed upon, that we've talked about, making simple changes that are quick and easy. And what we landed on is going for the grab, right? Okay,
I grab a lot.
So we're going to walk into her refrigerator.
Oh boy. Check it out, people. This is we're getting close. We're looking. What do you see, Leslie?
Excellent.
A lot of condiments. Mm-hmm.
Does it beep when the door stays open too long?
It does.
Okay. All right. So what you see in Rebecca's refrigerator, and she made the assessment, a lot of condiments, right? Absolutely. Lots of bottles, lots of jars. And here's what I also see, apples and grapes in the bins, right? Because they make us these lovely little bins, to make sure that your fruit stays fresh. But what it also stays is out of sight.
Yes. And that happens to me all the time.
Yep. If your fruit and your veggies are something that you're trying to eat more of, and the first thing that instead you see is something else, you will grab something else. And so one of the easiest things that you can do in your refrigerator is move the shelves around so that you can see the things that you want to grab, and that you take the things that you don't want or that you don't use all the time, or that you're always, moving through your refrigerator and getting back to. We take the icing, which is yummy. And
just a spoonful, people.
And we move it to the back where we don't see it, and we bring up some apples that we do see. Right? Super simple. The first thing I see is what I want to grab.
Oh my gosh. Duh. That makes so much sense. There it is.
Yep.
Our time's up.
Hold on. Shut the door.
Open the door.
Open the door. Same idea.
So maybe we take the grapes
Out.
So good.
They're
Well,
okay. They're hanging in.
They're on their way to wine.
Yeah.
So you take the grapes out of the package, rinse them, put them in a bowl, in a glass bowl, and stick them right here. I can grab them anytime.
Okay.
Right? Something like that.
Yeah. Got it.
And that's how you would, just kind of assess all of the things. And anything that has been here for too long, or, potentially, and I don't even know.
Right there.
February 24th, still good.
Oh, good.
But if it's out of date, if it's starting to grow fuzzy things, it just needs to go. But those are some very simple ways to use these for that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right? Put your jars in there. Okay. Right?
Yes.
It's your refrigerator. Use it not, the way that it's helpful to you, not the way that somebody else decides that they thought you should use it. Same here. You've got your meats and cheeses, which is great. But if you're not using them, put them somewhere else.
Okay.
Or put your fruit in there, pull it out.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
What am I going to do about all these condiments? I need to look at the dates on all those condiments. This is so real. This is like,
Yeah,
oh my
and
gosh.
that's a really good question. Rebecca, let's just look at these again. She's got a lot of condiments.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is to go through them
Okay.
and make an honest assessment of the ones that you use on a regular basis
Okay.
and the ones that you don't. Once they're done, because I'm not talking about throwing food away necessarily, but just don't buy them again
Okay.
or reassess. Okay,
I can
then reassess. Same thing. You're going to go through your freezer.
Oh boy. That's a lot.
So when you look at, things in your freezer, this is where organizational tools will really help. And you can get those dividers, even the ones like at the dollar store, where you can put them together and then you can divide it. Fruit, frozen fruit, treats. And you've already got some organization going on here with, some meals.
Yeah.
But these are really nice freezers, but they're not really helpful because things that are down here are too hard to get to. And this is, again, where you can purchase some dividers and make it work for you instead of it becoming like the freezer dump.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And if you notice, there's a whole lot of ice cream in there. We did a taste test last night on non-dairy ice cream. So there's coconut milk, almond milk, and cashew milk goodies in there. We like them all. So we're trying to go a little more plant-based. And that's why. But anyway, yeah, they're all really good. So you should try it.
Yeah. So if this was something that we were going to do today, we would take everything out and then organize it according to its kind: frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, treats, and then put some sort of even temporary dividers. And you can use shoe boxes too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anything to help give some differentiation in a freezer like this so that it's easy to see. Because if you can't see it, those vegetables, because there's vegetables at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, they're there.
But if you can't see them, you're not going to use them.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we doing, Rebecca?
We're doing great. I'm learning a lot, and I'm ready. You're coming back to help me organize she's coming back to help me organize this, I think.
And I know we've got some things coming in on chat, so I want to make sure that we get a chance to look at those, but we're going to take one more look. We're going to go to the pantry.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to let Leslie go in there by herself. It's not big enough for both of us, I don't think.
Same rules apply to your pantry. It's the grab and go. So if this door opens to the right, I'm right-handed. The easiest shelf to get to is this one right here.
Show them what's on it.
So what's on this shelf is the doggy treats and the flavors for coffees.
Yeah.
If we were to rearrange, we would put the things on this shelf that you grab all the time that are going to be helpful. So maybe that's your canned goods that you use like for dinners, or if you're making soups, or,
Peanut butter. I do love nut butter.
My love is peanut butter.
Yeah.
But things that you grab a little more often than something else. And what we want to, again, it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be helpful, because what I want to do is not have to walk into the pantry hardly ever. Right? I don't want to have, it's a beautiful pantry, but I want to move the things that I don't use very often back here. And I want to move the things that I use more often up to the front.
That makes sense.
So even considering taking some of your appliances up here and giving them back shelf space, and then moving all your food over here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're using it thinking like, what do I always grab? What's the first thing I grab in here? And
I might need to change what I always grab, though.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So like okay, we're going to get back to the wheat thins. Not a bad grab, but if it's something that you eat a lot of and you're trying not to, or let's say this was a bag of donuts, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to eat them as much. We're going to get them out of sight, out of mind.
Way back there.
They go down here. Whatever if there is something that you're trying not to eat, and you don't want to get rid of it, or you're not giving it to somebody else, get it out of sight, out of mind, and put the things that you want to be eating more of right here. Okay. So that when I open the cabinet, or when I open the door, all I have to do is go right here. I don't even have to open the whole thing. Little sneaky tricks like that.
That's amazing.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of things. Let's check the chat.
Okay.
See what we've got. So
Leslie's grabbing the chat, and if any of you say anything about my kitchen, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm learning a lot, and it's, there's a lot of things in here. Okay, question. Good question.
Okay, excellent question coming in on chat. Can purchasing items you need and will use be beneficial rather than a bunch of food a couple of times a month or so?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. How would you answer that?
Well, oh gosh. So for me, I like to shop at least once a week, because I like to have the fresh produce and everything that I leave on my counter and don't eat, which I'm going to work on. But I just like to have things that are fresh. And then, but for like pastas and lentils and beans and things like that, I'll go to a Costco. I'll go on a Costco trip, like maybe just once a month, and stock up on those things. So I guess I do both.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question.
It's an excellent question. And I would agree on that one. Purchasing items you need and will use be beneficial, because you save time and you save money. You save time and money when you buy the things that you will use in bulk, as long as you use them.
As long as you use them.
But if you're only buying them because they're on sale and then they go bad and then you have to throw them away, then you haven't gained anything.
No.
So
Case in
So
point.
the answer is yes and no.
Yeah. So case in point, I bought, I love the salad dressing from Olive Garden that they sell at Costco, and you get 3 bottles of it. I can't go through 3 bottles of that quickly. And so they did go bad, and I got chastised. Like the people in my family were like, this has gone bad. That's disgusting. And I thought, oh, okay. So now I don't buy salad dressing very often. I just make it myself, or when I buy it, I only buy like a small bottle.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And sometimes if you, for example, rice can come in, you could buy, the 10-pound bag of rice, or you could buy 5 2-pound bags of rice.
Right.
It depends on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So that question is really good. And thank you for that. You are so awesome to share your kitchen. Yes, you are. I wish mine was as organized as yours. Well, it can be. That's the whole idea.
Thank you, Letty.
That's the whole idea.
My whole day.
Can you share ideas on how to know what we could or should try to have more in our kitchen to have energy?
Things to try to avoid. Great question.
I need to know the answer to that too.
Well, there are. Okay, we could go general. We will go general here.
Because she's coming back.
Everybody has different nutritional needs.
Mm-hmm.
There is, hold on, I'm going to put that down. Whole foods first would be kind of the rule of thumb. Those foods will give you more energy.
Mm-hmm.
And those, as much as you can without going bad.
And so what do you mean by whole foods? Because somebody might not.
Great question. Grapefruits rather than grapefruit juice.
Mm-hmm.
Bananas rather than banana chips. Yeah. Potatoes rather than potato chips. So those are real specific and very small examples of how you can, move in that direction of more whole food. Now, you're not just going to grab a potato though, right? So I'm not just going to go, oh, I've got whole food in my kitchen. I have a potato rather than potato chips. So I'm just going to go gnaw on a potato. Right?
Desperate times.
Let me tell you, if I'm desperate, I'm not grabbing a potato. But there are things that you'll have for a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that are, this would be a great time to talk about snacks, because we talked about upgrading a snack.
Yeah.
There is a difference between treats and a snack. How would you define that?
So for me, a snack is something that's probably a little bit more nutritious. Like a snack to me would be a banana with peanut butter, or apples with a handful of almonds. A treat to me is like a cookie, or some of those ice creams down in my freezer. So that to me is a treat.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
100% that a snack is a part of your nutritional plan, and a treat is a little bit outside the plan, but it's never something that I just don't coach in the way that there's foods that you never have, because as soon as you throw in forbidden foods, it's the only thing you want. So if we were to sneak into your afternoon and you were going to grab a snack, or the kids were going to grab a snack, and it was something that you have, but you're like, I could probably choose a little bit better. Let's see if we can't upgrade a snack. What do you think?
That would be good. And I guess the bad thing about me is that I wait until I'm so hungry that I grab something bad. So I guess, okay, or maybe not bad. We're not labeling food, are we, Leslie?
We don't label food. Food is not moral. It's not good or bad. It just is.
And I'm learning that. I'm learning that.
I'm going to show you an example.
Yeah, do it.
Sometimes when we are getting ready to make a snack,
I just sit here and eat out of the trail mix.
Like this?
Right? We just eat it.
That's really good.
And we eat it while we are looking for another snack.
Yeah.
Tell me, give me a thumbs up if you're like, yeah, I'm eating while I'm finding a snack.
My kids do that. Like,
we all do that.
yeah.
So one of the ways we can remedy that, and you said it yourself, I let myself get too hungry.
I do.
And the next thing you know, you're licking the walls, right?
Yeah.
Trying to find anything. And then we end up having a full, half meal before we have a meal, or half a snack before we have a snack.
or this, well, that was salty, so now I need to get something to drink. And then, well, now that I'm starting to graze my snacks, I remember that we had that really great night the other night where we tried those ice creams.
Yeah.
And by golly, look, they're right on top.
They're on top.
They're so easy to get to.
The mocha almond fudge was pretty darn good, but the salted caramel was my favorite.
So if we're having a snack or a treat, sometimes it can be helpful to stop and actually say out loud, I want a treat, but I'm going to choose a snack. You're like, who are you talking to, Leslie? I'm talking to myself, right? Because sometimes we need to do a practice that I call notice and name. And notice that I want a treat, and maybe I'll have one later, but what I really need right now is a snack. So we want to have a treat. We go for the snack. We've already been eating the Simply Trail Mix. What could we do instead?
Well, that's a good question.
That's why you're here. Okay, so we know that on her counter she has, let's go this way. She's got bananas and she's got grapefruit. How
They're
could
in the package.
Exactly. So if I wanted to make that, and I need to make the grapefruit more accessible, what am I going to do? What could I do?
You know, okay, it could come out of the packaging and it could be sliced up and ready to eat in my refrigerator on the top shelf where I see it. Right?
Yep.
Did I get an A?
You could. You get an A. Or could you put a couple in the fridge and a couple out here so that you have some that are already ready to grab? Because we don't necessarily want to open our grapefruit days ahead of time.
That's true.
Right? But it's already there. And so following the rule of what we grab, we put these somewhere else.
Those are my hot Cheetos.
And we leave our whole food out.
Okay.
Right? So we leave those. So, and then even, you know, your avocado can come out of the package as well.
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Excellent.
I'm going to check the chat. And in the meantime, I'd like for you to start processing, like, what's one thing that's really coming away as your takeaway from today?
Okay. I'm processing. There's a lot of them, but
Yeah. We're good. We're doing great on chat. We've answered all of the questions so far.
good.
Are you ready to make a decision of like one thing that you feel like it's simple, it's small, and it's sustainable?
Yeah. So I think the thing that makes the most sense right now is because I have to go to the grocery store tonight, is to rearrange the refrigerator and put like the healthy snacks in full view and to put all of my condiments somewhere else.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm doing it. And if nobody knows where the stuff is, they're just going to have to get more familiar with it. It's like, Mom, where are the pickles? It's like, oh, well, here's why I moved them.
Exactly. So you're ready to rearrange your refrigerator in such a way that you can grab something easy, something healthy. The apples are on the top shelf.
right there.
They're within reach. They're ready to go and support some of your health goals that you've identified today.
Yes.
Eating a little bit better so that you have more energy, so that eventually some of the weight that you're trying to lose comes off.
Yes. That sounds like I can do that.
Excellent.
And
And
it sounds so scary.
and it doesn't have to be scary. And it also doesn't have to be all at once. And that's exactly, I think, the big takeaway I'd like to share today is that if you make one small decision and you're consistent with it, one small decision done consistently brings big results. And then when you're done with that one and it feels like a habit, then do the next one. Do it. It's small. It's consistent. Now, some of you are like, nope, I'm going to do the whole kitchen. I'm going to do my refrigerator, my freezer, my pantry.
I do want to do my pantry too.
Right? And you are welcome to do that. And that might go well for you. But what I would encourage you to do is to take the big picture and then choose one thing and then be consistent with it until you're ready to do the next one.
Yeah.
And then, go on to the next one.
I really like that. I
hope you guys like that too. Do we have any final questions for today?
so far, I think we've answered all of them.
We've answered them all. See, when you're almost 50, you have to use your readers to read your read your chat. Well, I just want to thank Leslie Snyder so much for being here. She's not only is she a great friend of mine, but she is amazing and she's incredibly smart and she has so many certificates and so many degrees that you do. She's one of the most educated people in this town about health and wellness. And so I encourage you to visit her website, which we will put in the follow-up email later on, probably tomorrow morning, with a handout if you didn't get it, and a recording of today, just in case you want to watch it again or you want to share it with somebody else that you love, that you want to be healthy and happy. And I would just like to ask you to maybe please come back.
Absolutely. Great. We're going to have Leslie come back and we're going to see how I do. And then we're going to see how you do. And we'd love to just start like a conversation around that. So again, I'm going to follow up with you. Oh, there's one more chat. Oh, thank you.
Oh, great question. What do you do when you have too many open condiments?
Oh.
With all the cooking classes, each class has special ones that we use only a bit.
That's true. That's true. Take that one.
Re-gift them.
Re-gift them.
Cole, who's doing our camera, who we love, Cole Massey, Walla Walla Eats and Drinks. He says we should re-gift them.
What do you do when you have too many open condiments? And a couple of ideas, you could use them as marinades. You can put them in, you could get your meat and marinate it and stick it in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do that. You can also then create other sauces, but you can freeze them.
I didn't know that.
Okay, here we go. Here's a little tip that you don't know. You know those frozen meals that you can get that have like meat and vegetables, and then they have those little squares that melt?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think that is? Stick your condiments in an ice cube tray, freeze them.
Oh my gosh.
And then use them when you're ready. All right. That was a fun one. What can you all freeze?
Oh, Becca, that's such a good. Hi, Becca.
What can you freeze? Nearly anything.
Yeah.
This is going to be okay. We're going to come back, and I'll answer that question. But we're going to come back for like level 2 of the kitchen makeover, level 3 of the kitchen makeover, and then we're going to get into meal prep. And that's, what can you freeze? There's almost nothing you can't freeze. It just depends on how you prepare it. Because again, if you go into the freezer section at the grocery store, you will notice there's frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, frozen pasta, frozen,
Pizzas.
Yep.
There's everything.
It has to do with how you prepare it for freezing so that you don't get freezer burn or it doesn't get mushy.
So is that our next class or is that the third class?
Well, I don't know.
Oh boy.
Next one would probably be the level 2 of
Okay.
the kitchen makeover.
Okay.
But we can certainly get into meal prep and planning because that's a part of the whole process.
Absolutely.
Great question. I don't know if we answered the what can you freeze, but
there's a remark, which is great.
I freeze a lot. I find it's important to package it well, 100%.
And
Label it with the date you froze it. Perfect
So
tip.
smart.
Is that Donna?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll have you come join us.
Yeah. Would you like to come?
But that's really true. Because that way you know when you put it in your freezer and how exactly what you put it in. Because you can't just put it in like any Ziploc bag, or you can't put it in just like any, the lunch meat deli plastic containers that we use for leftovers. That's probably not going to work well in your freezer.
No. Yeah. My family, they when we get pizza, sometimes when they haven't eaten the whole pizza, they just stick the box in the refrigerator. I'm like, that's not how we do, folks. That's not how we do. So, okay. Well, again, Thank you guys so much for your participation. If you have any other questions, if you didn't get them in the chat, when I email you, please send me your questions too, and I will get back to you. I'll speak to the guru, and then we'll definitely schedule another class. Stay tuned for that. We'll alert you since you came to this class. We'll know that you're interested. We'll let you know it's coming. And I want to thank you so much on behalf of Blue Zone's Project Walla Walla Valley. We just can't thank you enough for your time and your expertise, and also for your friendship.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we'll have Leslie again. And so thank you guys, and have a good night, and enjoy the football.